Hello, and welcome to the darkest timeline.
Film podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Darkest Timeline. I'm David.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Dylan.
And today we watched a movie where a giant flaming skull f***ed over the devil. That's right. We watched Ghost Rider 2, Spirit of Vengeance.
There's not a 2 in that title, and there shouldn't be.
Well, hey, it's in the otherwise known as area. There's a 2 in that title.
Because it's not Ghost Rider 2. Because this movie hard retcons Ghost Rider 1.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, it's an entire... Because they flash back to the technical events that precede Ghost Rider 1, or, well, the beginning of Ghost Rider 1, and it's different. It's an entirely different story. Because in Ghost Rider 1, his dad is much younger than they show his dad in this movie, and is... hiding the fact that he has cancer because he has no way to treat it, and he hasn't like come to peace with anything. He's just dying, and there's nothing he can do about it. And like the way Johnny signs the contract is entirely different. He's not in front of some warehouse. He's like in his trailer, and then like they show how his dad like recovers after that, and then dies in a motorcycle accident like the next day. And that's how that all goes down. And that is entirely different. They don't even mention, who was it? Was it Eva Mendes? That was...
I think so.
The love interest in that movie. They don't mention her. They don't bring her up at all. She was... I mean, they were, like, getting together at the end of Ghost Rider 1, right? And there's she's gone. He's in Europe now. This is...
Well, hey, Eastern Europe.
This is a different movie. It was certainly Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe is a place of myth and intrigue.
Actually, wait, was he in Eastern Europe?
He was.
He was in Eastern Europe.
He was in Turkey, otherwise known as Asia Minor.
Otherwise known as Turkey.
Asia that can't drink. So, Dave, you said you were ready. You said you were ready to do a plot summary.
I'm so ready for this plot summary.
Well, you'll keep it short, though. I know a lot of stuff happens.
The word summary tells me that you might not be ready.
You might not?
No, what I loved about this movie is how straightforward the plot is.
It is relatively straightforward.
Okay. In a world where the devil needs a new body, the devil gives birth to a son.
Whoa, that did not happen.
He's his son.
Well, no, a chick gave birth to it. The devil did not birth the child.
No, but like the devil sires
There we
son.
go. There, that's more anatomically correct.
And when the son turns 13, the devil is going to sort of body swap with him. Or consume it. We don't know if there's going to...
It's a body swap.
It's a body swap.
Yeah.
And it's up to one hell demon riding Nicolas Cage to make it so that the devil...
Oh, that sentence was on the fritz, but go ahead.
to make sure that the devil does not get to invade the body of a 13-year-old boy.
The devil does not to get...
Nicolas Cage is trying to defend the son of the devil from possession by the devil, and they go on a fun road trip through Eastern Europe to prevent that. And then at the end, the devil catches his son, and every bad person in the world, apparently there's only like 200 of them, meet in Turkey, which for some reason is...
It's like the inner circle.
Yeah, which is the farthest place from heaven. I don't understand the geography of that, but it is.
Sorry, Turkey.
And they try to do the body swap inside a really old Coliseum. No, not Coliseum. Theater.
Yeah.
Like an open theater.
Yeah.
Because devil's way into theater.
And it fails. And
because Ghost Rider shows up.
Right. Ghost Rider shows
man.
up.
Moreau showed up. That's why it failed.
Right.
And Idris Elba is here, and he plays a drunk
Frenchman.
French priest.
And he plays it well.
We'll get into that in the best parts. I'm going to definitely bring it up in the best parts. But then there's a lot of dying. There's lots of explosions. There's lots of action sequences that are on the road where everyone's traveling at 60 to 80 miles an hour. Yeah. But the general gist is, will the devil get to possess his son? And spoiler alert, the answer is no. Ghost Rider tends to have an effect on people. And his effect here...
You mean Hollywood tends to have effect on the good guys winning in movies?
Right. And Ghost Rider is a good guy only in the strictest
Anti-hero.
technical sense of the word.
By the end of the movie, he's a good guy.
Yes. Because at the end of
He's
the movie...
been purified
he
or
realizes that the thing that possesses him to turn him into the flaming menace actually is an angel. And
Well, he's been told this.
Yeah.
But he suddenly feels it at the end after he kicks the devil's ass.
Right. And so the angel instead of using hellfire, starts using soulfire, and is now able to create and bring back life.
You just made that up. He never called it that.
It's Dresden Files. Pick up a book.
Well, you don't just pick up a book, pick up the Dresden Files is what you were saying.
Yes.
If I looked at any other book, I would not find that reference.
Correct, but it is spot on what happened.
And I would also like to say, like, just in things, before we get to good parts and bad parts, just things. In the first Ghost Rider movie isn't an incredibly religious movie. It just has some, like, oh, there is the devil and there are demons and whatnot. But this movie is incredibly religious.
Right. At one point, they take communion.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw that in a Hollywood movie?
Well,
A comic book.
And really slowly. And it was being done by an alcoholic French priest.
Right. I love.
Oh, he was awesome.
Great. Let's just jump into good, because Idris Elba is by far the best part of this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's
So
really good.
sad that he died.
I wanted him to be the new Ghost Rider. He's like, just in general, from Stringer Bell all the way up to just whatever he's doing right now, he's always the best.
Oh, he's really good.
Oh, love him.
So who wants to describe him?
He looks a
believe you
lot.
described him
He looks a lot
pretty well.
like Idris Elba.
He does, except with the contacts.
Yeah, he's got some orangey contacts, which aren't explained. It's just part of who he is, I guess.
With a kick-ass leather jacket.
Yeah, he's got a leather jacket. and
Rides a
he's-
motorcycle.
He rides a motorcycle. He's always got a flask in his mouth, drinking.
A man of faith.
A man of faith.
He's legit.
He's a priest.
He's a legit priest,
real
though.
priest.
He's a real priest.
He's
But
a
he's
priest, but he's a raging alcoholic.
Yeah, so he's a cool priest.
He is most it's hard to make a priest cool. You can make a priest likable, but to make a priest cool,
Well, I
is
mean,
very hard.
The checklist for cool priest is A, black, B, French, C, leather jacket, D, raging alcoholic. That's a cool priest.
And a motorcycle doesn't hurt.
A motorcycle doesn't hurt, but everyone rides a motorcycle. I ride a motorcycle, you ride a motorcycle, none of these things are true.
I ride a moped. Does that count?
I forgot how big of a tool you are, Dave.
That's not a tool. That's not a tool. A tool would not drive a moped.
A tool is an inanimate thing, Dave. Of course it couldn't drive a moped.
He wouldn't even be able to get a license.
No.
Couldn't take the test.
Socket wrench.
Couldn't hold a pen. Well, it could hold a pen, but it couldn't move it to write
Well,
down its name.
if a
And
socket
it doesn't even
wrench-
have a name unless it had a really loving owner that gave it a name and a backstory.
Well, theoretically, a socket wrench is a socket wrench. That's its name. And if it had the right attachment, it could hold a pencil, but I don't think that it could actually write on the page.
Well, unless its loving owner gave it sentience. That's happened to you, right?
So he's a cool priest.
yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a cool priest.
He's a cool
He's
priest.
a cool priest.
What do you think was really good in this movie, Ian?
Okay. The quarry fight.
The quarry fight.
Oh my god. Because what's the face? The bad guy who's
John
not
Ralphio
okay.
from Parks and Recreation.
Corrigan.
His name is Kerrigan,
Corrigan?
I thought it was Corrigan.
spelled with an A.
Was it Kerrigan?
I think people call him Corrigan, though.
Okay.
Corrigan. Corrigan went to find an arms dealer to buy a lot of weapons from because he'd run into the Ghost Rider, and he was like,
Which, the smartest thing anyone in this movie does.
is like, I need to immediately find
an
someone to
army.
buy a lot of guns
And
from.
not just guns, bunker buster missile.
Yes.
Which is the first thing he uses.
Twice!
He locks onto Ghost Rider before he comes down into the quarry. As soon as the Ghost Rider lands in the quarry, the missile hits him, and then he's just standing there like, you didn't just do that to me. And then the Ghost Rider just goes nuts. in there, just starts killing everyone. Then he gets hit by another one of those bunker busters. And then he sees this huge-ass mining machine. He's just like, yes. And he climbs up into that thing, and then it goes all Ghost Rider, like just explodes, and there's flames flying out of it, and it's moving much faster than it was ever designed to move. And just everything's spinning and flaming, and just he's throwing it into people and buildings that don't even have people in them. He just wants to destroy as much as possible.
And he is having a great day.
Oh, the Ghost Rider's just laughing.
Right?
Because he has never been able to do this. And it's bucket list. He's like, I need to turn the largest thing I can find into a Ghost Rider mobile.
Yes.
It was really cool.
It was really cool.
When he got in that thing and everything exploded, Dave, who has never seen this movie before, just burst out laughing.
It's true.
But like in joy. And that scene, just when he's doing that, makes me smile. And I can't control it.
What I like about it, too, is that the mining equipment doesn't make sense. Like, I don't quite understand how that's an actual machine.
It is.
It is?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
From like the 70s to the 90s, it was like the largest
Land
vehicle
in the world.
Really?
Yeah, that kind of machine was like the biggest thing.
So someone sat down with a script and said, what's the largest thing we could ghost ride?
What was the largest thing?
Right.
The new largest thing probably is all modern and like sheen or whatever. It's probably really stupid looking.
But this thing had chains hanging off a bunch of it. Right. So they were like, this is the one.
And it just spat fire. It was
so cool.
Yeah.
And then the cackle that he does when he's just enjoying himself.
Yeah.
And I have a rule about movies. My rule is I do not root for the person who's supposed to be the protagonist. I root for the person who's having the most amount of fun.
That was Ghost Rider.
That was Ghost Rider.
And it certainly was not Johnny Blaze.
Although, like, the act 2 of this movie is equal parts boring and really cool.
Yes.
Because it just switches between those two things.
But let's focus on the good.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
To get through it, because that is a problem.
Okay, well, that was my best part, Dylan.
So I'm going to say that it also has to do with Idris Elba.
Okay.
That when he finds Johnny Blaze, who he finds, I don't know how, he just shows up at his place, and he says...
Ghost Rider compass?
Yeah, he has a Ghost Rider compass. But he shows up to Johnny Blaze, and he's talking to him, and he says, they have taken the child of the devil, and we need to get him back. And I stopped them from getting him, and only by the grace of God did I survive. And then how he survived, it just cuts to him hanging out of the bottom of a tree. Because so what he did, he was trying to protect the woman and her son from Corrigan and his men trying to capture them.
In a chase scene.
In a chase scene in the beginning of the movie. And he was on a motorcycle, and his tire gets shot out, and he flies over the railing, like down a huge ravine. But he like turns around in slow motion and pulls out a semi-automatic rifle or something and starts firing at the SUV and blows out one of its tires. So the mom and the son can escape, and he just like falls down the ravine. But then like he pops up later in the scene, he's like, by the grace of God, I survived. And it shows him, like, just cuts straight to him upside down, hanging out of a tree, just kind of looking around like, well, this is interesting. And the French national anthem is playing lightly in the background.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that part.
It is, just very softly in the background.
It goes so quick that it's almost subliminal.
But I loved that. I don't know why, because it was stupid and strangely out of place, but it was... This movie was directed by the person who directed at least the first Crank movie with Jason Statham. I don't know if they did the second one as well. But it has that same sort of weird tone. And it was fun. It was fun. It was a high point for me. And so we're on to other things we like.
No, I got to do my favorite part.
You didn't do your favorite part?
You did your favorite part. Your favorite part was
Idris Elba.
Yeah, it was. I thought we all agreed on it, though. I thought that was a communal buy-in.
I mean, well, if you want to have it, I mean, we're on.
Yeah, go ahead and have another.
We're still talking about things we like.
Here's the thing I found interesting about this movie. There was so much to like, and so little to hate, but the stuff that I hated really kind of made it for a dull movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I can go on. The CG was good.
Yeah.
The action was fun.
People have said that like some of the rating stuff is like, and the CG wasn't as good as the first one. I beg to differ.
Yeah, the CG in the first one looked fake.
Yeah,
awful.
The CG was great in this.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think this movie is a lot of good, very little bad, but a lot of boring as well.
Right. And so I would say my favorite moment, other than Idris Elba, was Nicolas Cage on his bike, sort of kind of fighting, being Ghost Rider. But it was right after the interrogation scene where he's like, you don't want him out or whatever.
That interrogation scene is great, too.
That interrogation scene.
The cagiest Cage.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's because when Nicolas Cage is being Nicolas Cage, and if you like Nicolas Cage, you know what we mean. When he's like, he's really up in there, and he's saying things in a weird cadence, you know?
Yeah, and so he's kind of gone mad a little bit, and there's some CG where he kind of pops in and out of it, and then he cackles like a madman.
Cackles like a Nick Cage.
Yeah, I felt as though
Like a madman.
casting for this movie was perfect in that if Nicolas Cage needed to be a superhero, this was the superhero for him. Just a crazy like flaming head on a motorcycle.
One of the other things that I really like in this movie is the music. I really liked the music because it's half orchestral and half thrash metal, and these are both things that I enjoy. And like it's really only mostly thrash metal when it's Ghost Rider, and Ghost Rider really plays into the idea of thrash metal. I think
He does.
it just really fit his scenes.
He strikes me as a mascot for thrash metal. Like Ghost Rider would be at a Guar concert or something like that.
Aren't they a little more heavy metal?
Maybe. Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, I know what you're saying. He's the front of a metal album cover.
If he picked up a guitar and infused it with his badass fire,
I bet that's happened in a comic book.
and no one would bat an eye, of course, he's put on a little top hat, like Axe. Or Slash.
Slash, yeah. Axe, slash, whatever. One does the other. But yeah, I thought the music was really good and just fit so well.
See, I disagree. I thought the music, I was trying to reach out for the music. I was trying to let it impact me. And I just felt like it was bland. And when it was orchestral or when it was thrash music, it just didn't grab me. Like I wouldn't buy this album.
That's one of the main problems with music and movie scores in general is that music is wildly subjective.
Right, and we're allowed to disagree. And frankly, here at The Darkest Timeline, we encourage all opinions.
Okay. Oh, one of the things I liked was just when that first time that you see Ghost Rider really up close and it really gets in on him, you can see like his jacket, like mostly the top half is like burned and like f***ed up because his head's on fire. So it should be. And the very top of it is boiling. Like, yeah, it was like bubbles and shit were happening on the top of it. And the skull, like the bone, looked burned. Mm-hmm. That was not happening in Ghost Rider 1. He was wearing a pristine leather jacket and his skull was pure white.
Yeah, it was very like, this is a 3D Max default skull we put in a fire.
Yeah, that and the fire itself, like all throughout the movie, acted like fire. Yeah. Like when he's moving really fast, it's mostly only on the back and it's burned out on the front.
Yeah, that's really good effects in this movie.
Yeah, I liked the fire. It was nice.
And do you have
I'm done.
anything? Okay, so to cap off what we liked about the movie, at the very end, after Johnny Blaze has gotten rid of the Ghost Rider, when he gets it back, was f***ing amazing. Because the kid comes out and everyone thinks that he's like actually on the devil's side now, and he's like, hey, so I have all the same powers as you, right, Dad? When he's talking to the devil, and he's like, yeah. And then Johnny looks up at him, and he has like a flash of the of his like signing of the contract, and he's like, do it. And then the kid jumps on him and starts breathing fire all over his head, and it just looked really cool.
And right after that, when Johnny was just like stumbling around, it's not like he was Ghost Rider yet. He was still Johnny. You could see the top half of his head. It's just that the bottom half was on fire, and it looked like it hurt.
It was neat.
You know, it reminded me of Godzilla, the most recent American one, where they're in San Francisco, and at the end, Godzilla like
Just like takes that monster and it's like, you are dead.
and then breathes the Godzilla electricity into him.
It's fine.
Well,
It's
it's
like
fire.
radioactive fire.
Yeah. It felt a lot like that to me.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
just
yeah.
aggressive, and it was like face.
It was just visceral,
Yeah.
and like the way the kid was like, he would go back to like breathe and do it again, and it was
Right.
like it was all just done so well. Yeah, I loved it. I just loved that. Yeah, and I think that's about it for.
But didn't the last line wasn't it ended on a great last line?
Oh yeah, it was the kid asked if they won because he just woke up because he kind of died and then he got Ghost Rider brought him back to life, whatever. And the kid's like, "Did we win?" And Johnny Blaze was like, "I'm gonna say yes." And then the camera just zoomed in real quick and like, "Hell yes!" And then it was over. It was like, what?
That's two in a row where it's done like a zoom at the end for a non-one-liner. It's good. It's good.
All right, let's
I
go.
like it.
Let's go to the bad.
The wonderful. The reason we're all here.
Right, and it truly was hard to watch. Despite,
Some of it,
despite
yeah.
the gushing that we've just done.
It is a
It was
slow
rough.
movie. In some part, it's a slow movie in general, and in some parts, it's just a dirge.
Yeah, well spoken.
Yeah. But I still maintain that I like the movie because there is so much to like. And it's not a movie that I would watch every day, but it's a movie that I could watch again.
Yeah, I'll agree. As far as action movies go,
Yeah.
I felt
It's
as far as action like superhero movies go, I like it when the stakes are a little lower. Like for instance,
Yeah, like when the devil's getting all the power in the world by possessing a kid that's half demon instead of all
right,
demon.
but he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
he was already
low stakes.
He was already incarnate here. And he was just going to take over this kid who the kid really wasn't all that good of a kid. He was just a kid.
Good pickpocket.
He was a good pickpocket. But okay, he's just going to take over someone else.
Well, no, he said because the kid was only half human, he'd have way more power than he ever had before because he could actually use more of his power.
Yeah, I'm
But
not. I'm not too
eventually,
worried.
the kid would probably burn out. Yeah, and he'd have to possess someone else. I'm wondering why he didn't in all his years of being on Earth, he'd never come across some lady who was dying and wanted a kid, and he could be like, "Hey, if I make you live, you're gonna have my kid." Like he's never done that before.
I'd be doing that 5 at a time.
Right? just have contingencies, and then when the kid's born, you take the kid and you raise it till it's 13,
And
somewhere
teach it-
secret.
Teach it to be evil.
Well, it doesn't even matter what you teach it to be because you're gonna incinerate the soul out of that shit anyway and take it over. Whatevs. Okay, so Dave, what was your least favorite thing about this movie?
There was a lot not to like here, and I would say that the
cardinal thing?
the cardinal thing, thank you, is that they decided to not ever use a tripod. at
It's all handy cam?
It's all handycam, and honestly, it made me a little nauseous at some points.
There were some times where it was pretty bad. You're like, if you just had that stationary somewhere, that shot made it look a little better. I could tell what was going on maybe a little bit.
I mean, I know a lot of people like you that get like sick for if a movie is way too handheld. Like you probably didn't enjoy Cloverfield.
Yeah, I had to push through it.
Like
Around Act 2, middle of Act 2, I got
we were fine
sick.
for
Yeah,
that.
like
aside from not liking horror movies at all, we were fine for that.
yeah, but like I never get motion sickness from a movie. That's never happened to me, and I get like horribly car sick. But I understand. Like it can just be hard to watch even.
Right. It's, I have another one of my rules about movies. It can't make me physically ill.
That's why I don't watch horror movies.
Right. That's a sign of a bad movie. So that will be my big one.
I hear that. I understand. I don't feel exactly the same way, but I understand.
What about you,
Okay.
Dylan or Ian?
Ian.
Okay. I've got to say, what I really don't like is when there's something I don't like in the middle of something I love.
Okay.
So, what?
I started coughing.
So in the middle of the quarry scene, he's hit by, I can't remember, was it some kind, another kind of explosive, like someone threw a grenade or some shit, I can't remember. But then like the dust clears and Ghost Rider's just like in the air laying down spinning.
They never explained that.
Yeah. He's just spinning and just kind of like, and his shadow isn't spinning at the same rate, and he's spinning and stopping and spinning really fast and stopping and spinning, and it's just really weird. And then he stops to look at someone, and then he's suddenly walking toward him all weird. And I'm like, what the f*** was that?
They just hard cut out of that idea into him killing a person, and we're done.
It was so weird, and I was like, you could have cut that out, and the scene as a whole would have been much better for it.
Okay, I'm going to counterpoint here. I kind of loved that part because in the quarry scene you get a lot of fun combat, but you also get the fact that he's a horror figure. He's scary.
Well, I mean, you get that. You already get that from the like when Corrigan pulls up the digital headpiece thing for the bunker
javelin
buster.
missile. Well, that was a javelin missile.
For the javelin missile, like he pulls it up. He's like, "Oh, we got to stop this!" And then it shows the Ghost Rider getting up somewhere, and then it shows the Ghost Rider much closer to him, and then farther away, then just like walking all weird again.
And I like that.
Yeah,
and
I like
then Corrigan puts down the thing. He's like, "What the hell was that?"
I felt that was just an extension of, or the spinning was an extension of the bunker buster thing, and I liked all of it.
Because in this movie, when Ghost Rider comes out, he is a horror movie. And Ghost Rider in this movie, as compared to the first one, is much more like a force of nature.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
He was badass at the end. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Just like he has a lot of power.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. They made Ghost Rider much cooler in this film than the first one.
He has a lot of power, and he just kind of uses it. And he doesn't really care about on who. That's where the whole anti-hero thing comes in.
I felt like
he almost kills the two other main characters multiple times.
Just because he's Ghost Rider.
I felt like if I were a teenager in the 80s and like I had the leather jacket and I went to school and I didn't think people understood me, Ghost Rider would be my hero. Like I could.
Except he would kill you too.
Yeah, but no, I'd be a comic book collector of Ghost Rider.
Right. So, Ian, in short, you're wrong. What else didn't you like?
Oh.
I'm allowed to disagree.
Yeah. It's a joke.
Okay, well, I was going to say I could do another.
You'll get your chance. One of the things I really didn't like, that's always kind of surprised me that I didn't like it, but I really understand why I didn't like it because I know exactly where the dislike comes from. But there's this scene when they're on the road and they have the kid. They're going to Moreau's or Idris Elba's, his buddies' places where they're like monks and they have tattoos on their faces and they're all bald and stuff. But on the road there, they have this scene where Johnny Blaze looks at the kid and he's like, "Want to have a little fun?" And they get, just after Moreau gets there, and they get on the motorcycle and they start just doing tricks on the motorcycle just for like 3 minutes or whatever.
And why didn't you like that?
I can tell you exactly why I didn't like that.
Did this happen to you as a child?
No. In 1969...
Wait, what?
A movie came out called Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And in that movie, there is a scene where, I can't remember his name. I just lost his name.
Paul
Newman. Where I was like, hot sauce, Newman's own, Paul Newman. Where Paul Newman, he just bought a bicycle, and he goes to his girlfriend's place, and he starts doing a bunch of tricks on the bicycle to the song "Raindrops Are Falling on My Head."
Raindrops are falling on
and he's doing bike things, and it's like bike tricks don't exist. This bike doesn't exist, not in that time period. That's beside the point. It's a stupid scene that doesn't belong in the movie, and it's just there to show off Paul Newman doing some bike tricks for a girl for no reason for a long period of time.
Also, it gave us "Raindrops Are Falling on My Head."
Yeah, that's where that song comes from. Anyway, I've never liked that scene, and I hate how boring and useless it is to the plot of that movie. And this scene in this movie reminds me so much of it, even though there's no like thrash metal cover of "Raindrops Are Falling on My Head" in the background. If
Which
there was,
I would love.
I might have loved the scene because I would have known it was being a parody then.
Or an homage.
Or it'd be a parody at that point. But it's the way it's like, oh, we're gonna do bike tricks with Nicolas Cage and the kid for a couple of minutes, and it's gonna be good fun, and then we're back to the movie. I just didn't like it. I've always hated that scene much more than it deserves.
Well, also, the camera's all over the place in that, conveniently never showing Nick Cage's face.
Not in the wide shots.
Nope.
But yeah, I just don't like that scene. I do not like it.
You know what I did not like, and I really don't have a good reason for?
You don't need a reason. This is the darkest timeline.
I was hot and cold about the henchman, Decay.
Oh, what Corrigan turned into.
What Corrigan turned into. He turns into a creature that's not quite alive, that when he touches things that are organic...
Maybe. It's really ambiguous.
It's really ambiguous, but
and
basically...
I'm totally with you on the hot and cold on him.
He touches something and
it
it
doesn't
turns.
have to be organic, because he did it to swords and guns.
That's true.
That is true.
But not Twinkies. I felt that his power was not consistently applied across all things.
Nope.
I felt that even amongst people, he holds on to the face of Nicolas Cage for far too long.
Oh, yeah.
Nicolas Cage should be a pile of ash.
Mm-hmm.
And he just, for a dramatic moment, they neutered his power.
Yeah. I mean, like in that scene at the monastery, he kills a bunch of dudes rapid fire.
Right.
He just grabs their heads and they're like dust in a moment.
And I liked it because I thought the computer graphics were cool. And I sort of liked the power itself.
Yeah. The power had some good moments.
And I didn't hate the actor.
Because he was being a little bit campy with it. He wasn't trying to be super serious about what he was doing.
Right,
Yeah.
but there was something about it that just got under my skin.
Because
Well,
I mean,
it was inconsistent. That's what's
it
getting
was just
under your
really
skin.
wildly inconsistent. So
Your
you couldn't-
brain couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
And when we get to the part where he's fighting Ghost Rider on the back of the truck, I'm thinking to myself, I have no idea what the rules of this fight is.
Right.
He's Ghost Rider. He's an immortal angel being personified through a possession of a body. Does this thing decay? Why? And then it turned out Ghost Rider kind of just balled up or nutted up or whatever. And no,
Is that a different thing?
Well, I mean,
balled up, you can physically go fetal.
Decay was like, he said something that was like kind of an insult to Ghost Rider. Like, as Ghost Rider, all of his flames had like gone out on his head, and then Decay insulted him, and suddenly all the flames are back, and he was like, "Motherfucker, what'd you just say to me?" And then he gets him, he's dead. But
It bugs me.
Yeah, it was just, you couldn't get behind it all the way, but there were a few cool things with his power that happened. Like, the two things that really stuck out to me, that have always stuck out, was the funny little Twinkie reference, where he picks up a bunch of different food and it all rots in his hand, then he pulls out a Twinkie, and it's just fine, because that shit's not of this universe. And
he can up metal, but he can't do anything. He'd be completely helpless against a Twinkie man.
a Twinkie-powered superhero.
Yes.
That'd be his arch nemesis.
Well, it wouldn't even be an arch nemesis. It'd just be the person who kills him, because he would have no power against this man.
Keep getting punched and be covered in
Well,
Twinkie.
he'd just keep getting punched, and it wouldn't hurt, but he couldn't hurt him back.
Well, he could probably punch him.
Well, he could eat him.
His
and the other
final
thing-
demise would be diabetes.
And the other thing that always stuck out to me was when he jumps on the front of, I can't remember her, but the kid's mom's car, and he just kind of pokes his finger at the windshield and it just starts the spider crack out to break the windshield. I always really liked that effect.
Yeah.
Because he just kind of pokes it and it just immediately starts spidering out.
He just needed to be able to have some control over it.
Yeah.
If he ever gave any hint that he could control whether he shit up or not,
Right.
then it would be 100% okay.
And I didn't like the way he looked either. The fact that he
weird.
went from a brunette to a gray-haired blondish person.
Basically became the albino from The Princess Bride.
Yeah, and no reason for it.
Like, in better shape, but yeah.
Right. So that bothered me because at the halfway point of this movie, he changes. And before that, he's a pretty good villain. Like, he has the foresight to buy bunker busters.
Any good villain needs the foresight to buy bunker busters.
Yeah. So let's move on.
To just other things we didn't like?
Yeah, anything that you feel, any pressing things that...
Peoria on fire.
peeing while you're on fire. It's like a blowtorch.
Yeah, the kid was
Flamethrower.
asking.
A flamethrower.
The kid was just asking Nick Cage like questions about like, hey, do you like it? What happens if you like rode a camel, or if which I'd actually love to see. Like if he rode a camel, would the camel go all like f***ing crazy? Or if he rode a ski lift or something like that? I'm like, all those are decent questions. Then he's like, what do you do what happens if you pee? And he's like, well, it's awesome. It's like a flamethrower. And then
They show it.
Then the kid's like thinking about it, and it cuts to that. Just black screen, Ghost Rider on it, facing away from the camera, peeing fire. And then he like leans his head over and goes like, ha, gives a nod to the audience.
One of the things I didn't like was the 3 exposition cartoons.
Yes.
I know, it was so weird. And technically number 3 was split in half. Because it went
Whatever.
back to Nick Cage
But it was
talking
still-
and then to the
It was
cartoon
still
again.
just 3 cartoons. But they have one cartoon, and none of them happen immediate. I feel like the movie opens, and then it eventually goes to a cartoon, and then there's around midpoint there's another one, and then sometime in Act 3 there's another one. But they're all just they're like, well, we can't pull off anyone actually telling this to anybody else in the movie because it wouldn't make any sense. So we're just going to throw that at people in a cartoon.
Well, to be fair, they were right.
Yeah.
None of that would have made sense with anyone just saying it.
I am shocked, I tell you, that there are so many bad comic book movies that use
Cartoon exposition?
this trope at this point. I didn't even think it would be a trope.
It is now.
But it is now.
It must be. There's so many of them.
We didn't even realize it was a trope, but we've seen so many. I think we've 4, movies maybe
Yeah.
that have had this.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
course.
and I think they've been like every
Wait.
single one for the last month.
But with this movie, we doubled the number of cartoons we'd seen.
It had also they leaned on the trope, but then they also had the Jonah Hex sort of, you get teleported into a different reality sometimes where everything goes black and you just see the people.
I think that was part of Decay's power.
Yeah.
Because
Which was also not properly explained.
Yeah, because the devil just once, the devil says he has the power of decay, comma, darkness. And it's never brought up again. So I'm pretty sure, like, I can't say definitively that that's what was going on, but it seems like that's what was going on.
It felt as though sometimes they went cheap on...
Oh no, that's what they did, but
Right.
the excuse was the darkness, I think.
Still weird that the devil said comma, though.
Yeah. It was an odd choice that he was very insistent upon. What
You have the power of decay, comma, darkness, exclamation point.
Camelot Rising.
What?
I like callbacks.
I don't anymore.
I don't think there was anything else that I just hated.
I think I already mentioned one of the things I didn't like, and I forgot that it was marked down as something I didn't like, was why hadn't the devil done that whole making a child thing before?
Yeah.
Seriously, come on now.
So let's move on.
Yeah.
A nice little clip. So now we come to the point of the
Now we come to the point of the
Now we come to the point of the comma podcast. That's improper grammar, Dave.
Ian, I would like to remind you that you f***ed up on the word visit. last
and
week.
subscription. Yeah, you don't have to forget that. Come on now. Remember. It's really important. I had a stroke.
Now we come to the point of the podcast where we talk about how we would make this movie better. So this is where the Darkest Timeline team Darkest Timeline teams up
Okay, that makes more sense.
to create a better movie, or at least
A different movie.
A different movie.
Better is subjective, and pretty subjectively, I could say this won't be better.
Loosely, and I cannot stress that enough, loosely based on the material that we have watched this evening.
Start us off, Dave. It's been a while since you did that.
Been a while. I'm really bad at kicking things off.
Well,
What I thought was missing from this movie was only speculated by through the child. what if you steal a camel? What if you are on a ski lift?
So instead of Eastern Europe, you go further east.
No, I want
south?
a little bit more of a mashup where Ghost Rider is trying to steal several cars and different items.
You're turning this into Gone in 60 Seconds. This is Gone in 60 Seconds if Johnny Blaze is the character in that movie.
Yeah, and instead of just the devil and his henchmen, frankly, I think the devil kind of has a...
Like, is this plot going on, but in the same night, he has to steal those 60 cars, or 100 cars, or whatever
Yes.
it was?
Not even just cars, man. Hey, there's a camel in there.
Cars,
too.
camels,
There's a camel,
train, ski lifts. How is he going to do it?
Yeah,
Just wait
yeah.
and see.
I want a hovercraft. I want him, like, ghost riding all sorts of gear.
A Zamboni. It'd be
would actually-
going like 20 miles an hour.
Almost.
It would be the least effective Zamboni in the
No,
world.
it'd be the most effective Zamboni. in the
No,
world.
there would be no more ice left.
Well, I mean, it will be faster. But you're right.
Oh man, you just took away like the entirety of my bit.
You can fit it in. I know I can fit mine in.
So I would like to see that happen, and I would also just add one more thing. The devil did not have a very deep bench of henchmen. I would have liked to have seen Ghost Rider go against an entire
Battalion of Nazis.
like an Eastern Bloc country's army, like
The whole, that would have been really cool.
the whole army. Yeah, he's in the demon Zamboni, and he's going against like
And they're
Russian
like,
tanks.
they're like, we'll wait.
well, maybe at the beginning they'd be like, we'll wait. But closer to midpoint, they'd be like, "F***ing fire! We have distance."
Yeah, what happens when he gets in one of the tanks, man?
How would he get in a tank? He has a f***ing Zamboni.
They're way better than a tank.
Yeah, they go nearly 20 miles an hour.
That's Act 1, or the first pillar of this movie.
First pillar of this movie. What's the second pillar of
Okay,
this
so
movie?
while he's fighting the army of some Eastern Bloc country that's in specific,
The devil's working with? Could they have
Oh,
the
yeah.
kid?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Devil's there.
Okay,
they have
that
the
was-
kid, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely.
They've already taken the kid. Kid was taken in Act 1.
Right.
Whatever.
Scene 1.
Yeah, that way we don't get that motorcycle riding scene.
Yeah, but they end up like the battle keeps moving because he's pushing them back but rather slowly since he's in a Zamboni, and he's really really attached to Zamboni. Just does not want to give that up. He's like, I'm gonna stay in the Zamboni forever. He's cackling like a madman.
I like to think that instead of ice, he leaves a nice thin coat of fire everywhere he goes.
Or a thin coat of like everything is like repaved behind him.
It's just a street paver. And as he moves them back, they get into a city, and all the tanks and stuff go over a slight edge, go over a curb, and he can't follow them. And so he has to go on foot.
Roll credits.
He has to go on foot, and then he finds a camel.
Ghost camel.
And in the first movie, they showed that a horse could be Ghost Riderified.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this camel, which are notoriously slow creatures.
Ooh, and they spit.
Yeah.
Spits
fire. You know what? Now this camel can go nearly 20 miles an hour because Ghost Rider is not picking a faster vehicle. God, no. And so now, Ghost Rider, now with a vehicle that can now actually shoot projectiles, is chasing the tanks, getting ever closer to Rourke and the Eastern Bloc.
Okay, and part of that too is when he's in ghost camel form,
Ghost Camel. Ghost Camel!
he also gets the power he had in the quarry of he kind of jumps around a little bit. He doesn't travel in a straight line.
Like even the camel moves?
Right.
Oh yeah, so they're like, fire, and the camel's already in front of them, like, ah! And
it
the
just
camel
takes
takes a
one.
big bite out of something. Like, do camels bite? I guess.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dylan.
So at like the start of the third act, like they've got the kid back and they've taken him like across the street to the monastery because that's safe, right? And they're trying to get rid of Johnny's powers because that's what he wants. But Idris Elba kind of tricked him because he got him to give up the powers and give them to him.
Yeah.
So now Idris Elba is the Ghost Rider, but Idris Elba is a pure man.
Okay.
He's a pure man. So yeah, So, but he taps into the spirit, the angel portion,
Spirit of justice.
the spirit of justice, and so he gets the blue fire. But then at the end, he's not enough to take down the devil and the Eastern Bloc. So the kid gives Johnny back the spirit of vengeance powers. So there's the spirit of justice and the spirit of vengeance, both going crazy on camels and Zambonis and other vehicles that do not quite go 20 miles per hour.
Street trolley, forklift,
Golf carts.
Ski lifts.
really old trains, but on pavement.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, the little arm things that move the train would just like dig into the ground. and
Road
move
bikes
it forward.
where only the first 2 gears work. What? But yeah, that's where this, and then from they tear up the Eastern Bloc as the third act. It's a huge fight scene. It's really cool. Lots of thrash metal. Yeah,
I think during the very end, they should be riding
Segways.
segways. They're riding Hellfire segways.
I love it. And so then they both together throw the devil back to hell, and then they part ways. The end.
Then the kid comes up to both of them as they're both about to part ways, and he's like, "Did we win?" And they both in unison say, "I'm going to say yes. Hell yes!" After a close up, and it's
Zoom
done.
in close up.
Yeah.
On both of them, so the screen splits in half, and it just zooms on each of them separately.
And that is a perfect movie.
And now for a special season-ending episode of Absentee Presenter. Our 3 heroes, David, Brett, and John, have found themselves on 3 very different paths. One, a single-minded zealot. Another, a hardened soldier. And finally, the last, a black Jerry O'Connell from that 90s show Sliders. Let us begin at the Orin Mercenary Group base of operations, where a certain zealot contacts his master about a certain mercenary that started a war and has finally been captured.
Korriban the Round, Lord of Circles, Master of the Spheres, hear my call!
He pick up yet?
It's ringing!
Do you bring me pleasing news, David?
Yes, Korriban! The heretic Brett has been captured at last.
Good, David, but how close does this take us to bringing an end to Brynloft?
Hold on. Is he talking yet?
Orin's working him now. Ask the question.
I don't think it's a good time.
We fought your war, Dave. You ask the question.
Fine! He's being interrogated now, O Round One. And as soon as we learn anything, you will be the first to know.
Then this call was useless to me, David. And if it was useless to me, then it cannot join the cycle. Its circle ends and it will be discarded.
Do it.
I understand, sir, but there is another issue.
Speak it.
The Orin mercenaries fought a war to protect me and believe they should be compensated for their trouble.
716 dead, 1,955 wounded, 83 AWOL, and one of our best decided to pursue his dream of theater carpentry because he'd seen enough devastation.
They have a long list of
Theater carpentry.
They have a long list of grievances.
The end of this age is at hand, David. When it comes, I must have my prize within my grasp.
Or there may be no future for any of us. I understand.
We have no time for greed, and if they will not join the cycle willingly, they are not worth our trouble, and we will move towards those that are. Good day.
Yes, your cylindrical grace. Take as much time as you need. We will await your answer.
Well?
He has to sleep on it.
Right, I'm sure he does.
Hey, I'm doing my best here. The way of the circle is very important to Lord Korriban. If he doesn't sleep on it...
Look, Dave, we're for hire, and we make sure we're paid enough to forget all about the Pantheon and their power. We do not care about your crusade. Just find me that paycheck, or I'll find my own. and you won't like what I find.
Whoa, calm down, Todd. You'll get your money. Korriban gives every decision the time it needs.
Yeah, sure. I'll check on Oren and our guest. You stay by the phone.
I'll be right here when you need me. Well, that should give me enough time to get the out of here.
Meanwhile, in the next wing over and several floors underground.
Is this all that you have, human?
Untie me and see you. Alright, I don't know what the hell you are, but you're hideous. You are hideous, alright? I'll fight you.
If you could not defeat me with an army, what could you do with fists? And only 2 of them.
Have you ever seen Face Off? That show with the makeup? They couldn't recreate you. That's how up you look.
I do not watch your television, human. I make my own entertainment.
Oh, what a stereo.
Where is Brynloft hiding?
You are not a nice person. Thing. Monster. Whatever.
Has he collected the true will of the universe?
I don't know what that is.
Settle down, Oren. We need him breathing.
Has Korriban agreed to our demands?
Not yet, and I don't think he plans to.
Things not going your way, boys?
Cool it, Oren. Is he talking?
I was wearing him down. If Korriban won't give us what we want, why keep this one alive?
Because he's such a nice guy. I'm such a nice guy.
Because he's a good fighter, and if we're gonna move on to Plan B...
Right.
What's Plan B?
I'll grab some tea. You give him a talk.
Take your time.
Hello, what's Plan B?
Well, it's really more of a Plan Z and a half.
Is that relevant?
Do you think Brynloft really cares about you, Brett?
Well, yeah. I'm one of his most trusted soldiers.
Well, that's interesting, because he sent you into the infinite dimensional sway alone without any backup to go after one of the most trusted disciples of Korriban the Round, to fight a war by yourself.
Because I'm that good?
Right, says the man tied to a chair. Let me ask you another question.
Go ahead.
Did you watch Cowboys and Aliens?
Yeah. How did you know that?
How did I know that, Brett? Nobody knows that. Because you didn't do an absentee presenter that week, did you? Why is that?
Because there wasn't enough time.
For whom, Brett? Was it you? Did you not have enough time? Because you sure had enough time to watch the whole movie.
Brynloft, okay? Brynloft didn't have enough time.
Well, that's weird. I thought he cared about you. Isn't he the one that asked you to watch it in the first place?
Yeah, I get it, alright? I'm expendable. Is that what you want to hear?
How would you like to not be expendable?
Okay, I'm interested.
Good.
What's Plan B?
There's an old prophecy about the Pantheon, that they get their powers from the true will of the universe. But the will is also prophesied to be taken from its place in the universe, soon. So if we can find it before any of the old gods...
You become the new gods.
We become the new gods. Are you still interested?
Yeah, but how does the true will of the universe escape?
Well, it's said the true will will be ushered from its cage by a great darkness.
And at the same time, dimensions away.
Did someone just say something racist?
Gesundheit.
Who's there? Man, it's dark in here.
Better?
Yeah, I think. Where am I now?
How should I know? I just live here.
And you don't know where you are.
I haven't been outside in a while.
So, who are you?
I don't really know. Haven't had to tell anyone. No one around. Started with a B, though. Better question. Who are you? No one's ever visited me before.
I'm John. You're alone here? What do you do?
I play canasta.
By yourself?
All 6 players. Hard not to cheat.
That's insane.
Yeah. So how did you get here?
Oh, I go through doors, but doors can take me anywhere.
Oh, you're one of Morty's disciples. That explains a lot.
What? No. I only just met the guy, and he had no idea why I can use doors like that.
Classic Morty. Doesn't even know when he's giving his powers away.
What?
So, if you know Morty, you have to know Brynloft.
Yeah. How do you... oh, no. No. I'm not answering questions about a movie right now.
Wow, you do know Bryn Loft. You seen that second Ghost Rider movie?
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about it. Period.
If you answer my questions, I'll give you what you need most. In all of the universe. All of it.
Is that a riddle?
It's a secret.
Like your name?
No, that's a mystery.
I just don't know about that.
It might help you get home.
Ask your questions.
Great. Oh, this will be even more fun than Canasta. I hate Canasta. Tell me about the movie. The best part for you. Your favorite part.
Okay, my favorite part of this Ghost Rider sequel is I liked Idris Elba. You know, he was probably the best thing in this movie to me. I kind of wish the movie was more so about him than about Nicolas Cage, because, yeah, okay, the good thing is my favorite parts. When he first was trying to chase after the devil child or whatever, and he got knocked off of the...
Barry.
What?
No, that's not it.
Okay, anyway, and he got knocked off of the cliff. He turned around and shot the bullets and blew up the other... Like, that was awesome. That was cool. Other than that, towards the end of the movie, where he kind of like won a one-man war against everybody, you know, in the ritual thing, you know, shooting everybody, and it kind of sucked that he got blown to bits. But he's like basically the best part of this movie.
Maybe Braxton.
Are you contributing something, or...
Beg your pardon?
Anyway, all right. So Idris, back to my favorite part. Idris was the best part of this movie. There really wasn't anything else good about this. Maybe visual effects, but other than that, just Idris. Actually, I'm surprised he even did this movie, to be honest.
I haven't been part of society in a long time, so my pop culture knowledge is a little spotty. What's a Ghost Rider?
Hold on. Wait, what?
Never mind then. How's 89 points sound?
Okay, I don't even know.
Perfect. Now tell me about the worst part of the movie.
All right, my least favorite part. What isn't my least favorite? But, wow. It's the editing, the camera angles, the color schemes. It was so confusing. I didn't know what kind of movie I was watching. I felt like I was watching an independent college film where they just gave this college student free reign to do whatever, you know,
I feel like a Bronson.
Can you stop, please?
Oh, I'm listening.
Anyway, yeah, it was weird. Just all of the camera shaking randomly, and I get they were trying to show that he was crazy, but I don't even really remember him being this crazy in the first film. I don't know. It seems like a foreign film, kind of, to the first film. I didn't really care for the villain. They should have changed that guy from being a devil. He looked really weird as the devil. Not believable. Oh, and a very horrible line. The power of decay.
Ben.
Oh, okay, look, you're ruining this thing for me, all right? All right, can you just stop?
Stop what?
Gosh, all right. The last thing, because I only have so much time. I'm trying to get out of here. David S. Goyer wrote this film. He wrote Batman v Superman. Why is he still writing? Why does he still have a job? They can hire me, okay? They can hire me. I wrote a better Superman story when I was in middle school.
Maybe Blaze.
How about Crazy? I'm just going to call you Crazy because...
Crazy doesn't even start with a B. I'm going to call you 35 points.
What?
Good. So fix this movie for me, John, as if I've ever seen it.
All right, so... $1 million question. How I would fix this movie. I wouldn't even have put David S. Goyer in this movie. That's what I would have did. I would have told him to stay the hell away, but hindsight is 20/20. So how I would fix this movie, I would probably give Idris Elba a bigger role. You know, and actually have better dialogue, because that's just not really how people talk all the time. I mean, most of the time they were talking as if there wasn't really this impending threat. You know, they're like, hey, let's make jokes at the worst time, you know, mostly from Nicolas Cage. You know, okay, anyway, so I would have a tighter story.
Couldn't be Barabbas.
Okay. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. All right. I would have a tighter story, okay? Tighter story, and stop shaking the camera so damn much. Just shoot. Pick a shooting style and stick with it. Because it felt like it was so many different things going on at once. It felt like an experimental film. And that's not how the Ghost Rider should be. You know, it shouldn't be experimental film. It's like, are you trying to get people to watch a movie and pay money for this? Or are you just trying to say, hey, screw it, I'm going to do whatever I want?
And Brittany's a girl's name. Wait, am I a girl? Nope, I'm a boy.
You know what, man? Screw you, okay? All right? I don't even know why I'm here.
Well, that doesn't fix the movie.
I wouldn't have wrote the movie. That's what I would have done. Leave it in the comics. Keep David S. Goyer away from stuff.
And that's worth 92 points from me, Bellamy. Nope, that's not right.
Have you ever thought about maybe it's not with a B? Maybe it's a C. Maybe it's a D. There's other letters, man.
Now who sounds crazy? You got 216 points, John. That exchange rate must be right in the tubes. That is really high.
Brinloff said something like that last time I saw him. So, whoop-de-doo, I guess. I don't know.
That really takes me back. Brinloff and his friends used to talk shit on Shakespeare plays in the Globe Theater all the time.
Well, that seems rude.
Yeah, I never went, though. Not really my thing.
Cool. Now, how about my reward?
Right. I'm gonna give you the thing you need more than anything right now.
Which is...
But first, let me introduce myself. I still can't remember my real name. But you can call me the One True Will. More of a title. Nice to meet ya. One True Will.
So, Will. Will's your name. Just Will.
And with the revelation that John alone has found what so many others seek, we adjourn to a final call.
You have reached Korriban. What is it, David?
I've left the Orin mercenaries behind, O Round One. Where shall I go next?
You will know when you have arrived, my child, but for now you must journey alone.
Yes, Korriban.
Now, let's see.
Brinloft here. Who the f*** are you?
I just called you to tell you that your end is near and I will soon be all-powerful.
Oh, well, you know I've had my own plans going as well. We still on for bridge at Morty's this weekend?
You know that nothing gets in the way of bridge night.
Good, because I might let you win this time. Hold on, I've got another call.
I will
Go ahead.
It doesn't look like the Orin mercenaries are joining Korriban, but they know about the will of the universe. We'll have to strike soon.
Good, but remember, we're playing the long game here, Brett. So, do you think you could hold off till Monday? I've got kind of an important bridge game this weekend. And with those words, we close the book on this first season of Absentee Presenter. Now, back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
We're going to the cards. What are we gonna watch? And so that's
the end.
Yeah, that, dear listeners, is the very end of our comic book season.
And what an ending it was.
That doesn't mean we
at
won't.
Nearly 20 miles an hour.
That doesn't mean we won't be doing comic book movies in the future. That just means we won't exclusively be doing comic book movies, because now we are going to choose a Nicolas Cage movie to start the next season on, after which we're just kind of watching whatever movie we find through that movie, because we're going to take an actor from that movie and follow them to another piece of movie they've been in. It worked last time. It could work this time. And now we're going to figure out...
Well, you have to say we're going to...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to figure out what Nicolas Cage movie we're going to go to. And I am going to pick Drive Angry. Because Drive Angry is Ghost Rider 1.5. It's not a Ghost Rider movie, but it really wants to be. And Nicolas Cage is maybe the least Nicolas Cage in that movie.
Oh.
But the antagonist, the secondary antagonist, the secondary antagonist, there's this other guy, but he's really good. He is amazing in that movie. And Nicolas Cage is he's really chill in that movie. And I still kind of like him, but he's not very Cage in that movie.
Ian, what are you going to get?
But it's a bad movie.
I am going to go with Rage, which we actually collectively, us three, watched maybe the first 10 minutes of once, and then Netflix failed us. And so we didn't watch it.
Was it
but
a bad
it's
movie?
one of, it is, yeah, it has like a 28 on Metacritic. It's one of the many Nick Cage movies with the exact same plot. Someone took Nick Cage's daughter. But Nick Cage used to do bad things. So now Nick Cage is going to do bad things to the people who took his daughter.
All right, this is a hard one for me.
Welp indeed.
We are going from one religious thriller to the next in Nicolas Cage in Left Behind. The Christian apocalyptic movie about the rapture.
Gee, I haven't seen that one.
Heard nothing good.
Oh.
So you've seen it?
I have. I had to watch it in 10-second increments.
What?
It was so bad. I had to be like, okay.
I think you've you know the
what?
idea behind the Darkest Timeline is that we do this here and we don't apply it to the rest of our lives. And I think you have failed that concept.
Okay, so let's flip them.
You know what? Wait, can I just say, that what you just said about watching that movie reminded me a lot about this one time where I was like, I don't know why, but sometimes I watch bad movies just because I do sometimes. I've been doing that for a long time. And I decided I was going to watch all those new Alvin and the Chipmunks movies because I knew they'd be awful.
You never told me you did that.
Whoa, because I didn't. I was watching the first one, and it took me 4 days watching in 15-minute increments to quit halfway through. So you know what? I think we should get to those sometime. Maybe do a little micro season of those. I don't know. But dude, I could not do it.
All right. So
well, you know, I think we should just turn them over at the same time, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, go.
Thank God.
Oh, what did you pick?
Rage.
Oh, we're watching Rage. It's just gonna be a bad action movie. Not gonna be a horrible. It's not gonna be the same sort of situation we were throwing us into, Dave.
I don't like the flip over at the same time because now the audience doesn't know what we
Okay,
got.
fair enough. Well, we went in sequence, so I have a 10, Dave has a Jack, and Ian has a Queen.
Suck it, b****s. We also all have different suits. That's neat,
right.
I guess.
So, Ian, play us out.
This is the Darkest Timeline. Goodbye.
No, it's not goodbye yet. You have to actually, thing.
Vidisol. I get too excited, and then I can't speak right. Oh my God, how'd that happen 2 weeks in a row? It's because I wrote it down, and I'm reading it. Get off the floor. Ow! Ow! Y'all just shut up. Just read it. Visit us on DTLPodcast.com or listen on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, or any other place that you can find us, because I know we're totally other places. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at DTLPodcast, and like us there as well. That'd be neat. And subscribe wherever you can possibly subscribe. And we'll love you. We'll love you so much. You don't even know. We'll just please do that.
And maybe comment.
This is the Darkest Timeline.
Shut up.
Goodbye.
Shut up. Well, and maybe comment. Tell us how we're doing. If you want anything changed, we won't do it. But we like to know.
We like to know if you like something or dislike something. Because so far, literally, we have had one thing where someone we know made someone they know listen to it, got feedback from them, and then told that feedback to us. And we have since changed things because of that feedback. So please tell us what you think, because we like to know. See you in season 3. This is the Darkest Timeline. Goodbye.
I hate both of you.
You're a bad man. And this thing, the writer, is hungrier than it's been years, and that's why I'm shaking. Because right now, The only thing standing between you and the rider is me. And he's just gripping at the door! Gripping at the door!